Man, I really wish I had the best trail camera in the world. Oh wait, I do. It's an Exodus trail camera, guys. Do you want one? We're gonna give one away. Simple as this. Like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and comment for extra entries. If you're a subscriber, long-term subscriber, you know the drill. You know how this works. If you're new, that's how you do it. Simple as that. We're gonna give one of these bad boys away. If you want to win, like, comment, and subscribe. Free camera? Why not?
Well, guys, we've got some extra time in the blind today, so I figured I'd keep going with some of these stories that I've had throughout this year, explaining my year, and we got the footage to back it up. And if you haven't caught the actual videos of this stuff taking place, these hunts, they are live. They are on our YouTube channel. You can check these hunts out, but I want to give you some reasons as to why I did what I did in these hunts. So, for the longest time, I never posted about this deer on social media, okay? Because I shot the wrong deer. Before I get into this, I should probably mention that it is booking season, guys. We are booking clients right now. You know the drill. We are probably darn near booked up at this point, but if you want to learn more about, pulling deer onto your property, killing bigger bucks on your property, food plotting, timber stand improvement, head over to whitetaillandmanagementservices.com, hit the contact tab, shoot me a message. Otherwise, head over to vortexoptics.com, use code WLM20. That'll get you money off of their apparel, or go to eurooptic.com, code WLMSVTX10 will get you money off of Vortex Optics. So I shot the wrong deer. Okay, there we were in Kentucky the first week of season. High hopes. We came in hunting two specific deer, really. And as this September shift started to occur, one of them disappeared, okay? So there was two bucks, and I remember the biggest one, we called him Alpha, and I forget what we called the second one, but he was just gnarly. I called him Gnarly Charlie for a while, but we did have a different name for him. But regardless, the number one buck was Alpha. Alpha was a high wind 60s, 170-inch deer. And in order to kill this deer, we were going to have to use some very out of the ordinary tactics. Okay, we were going to have to sit on the ground. We sat in the water, and we did a lot of crazy things because of the conditions that we were presented. Okay, most people would have stayed out in a lot of these conditions, but we knew we had limited time. And we knew that we would have to wait days on end in order to get in there to hunt the quote-unquote right conditions. And in fact, the conditions were right in a way, as long as you understand how to manipulate them. So basically, the reason we sat down in this creek bottom, guys, is because that cool water would suck our thermals down to the water and drift it the complete opposite way that the wind was. So it was actually pulling it directly away from where this deer was crossing to hit the big ag fields every night. And so, knowing that, I knew our scent was going to go the opposite way. So after the first day, I don't know if we saw anything the first day. I think we saw maybe a small buck. But the second day we got out there, that big buck was out there literally that morning, like this 160, 70-inch deer in daylight. So we move in and we go for it. We go and we hunt this marginal wind. We sit in this creek. And if I were to stand up in this creek and drop milkweed, the milkweed would actually go towards the direction in which they were going to cross paths with us. But if I stayed down low, if I stayed seated, kept my head below the bank of this creek, my wind would go the other way. It was pretty wild. And just to understand the basic concept of what thermals do allowed us to pull this trick out of our bag and sit in the water and shoot this deer, or what I thought was this deer. So the hunt kind of comes together. We get down to the last hour or so of light, and I can feel it. I was super nervous to the point where, I almost didn't want to go hunting, if I'd be completely honest, guys. We had this 170-inch deer, and my gut was just twisted in knots because, you just went through the entire off season of sitting on the couch and thinking about this moment. I was just nervous, like it was a big game or something. But anyway, that all went away, oddly, at about, I don't even know exactly what time it was, but about an hour before dark. And next thing you know, we kind of get ready. We thought we heard a crack or two in the brush, and this one spot that they were going to cross, and I literally said it in the video. I said that I think it was earlier that day, I said, if this happens, guys, it's going to happen quick. There's not going to be a lot of footage, and there wasn't. It literally happened to a T, exactly how I said it, which was not to my benefit because I was mistaken for which deer it actually was. So, next thing I know, we hear like maybe a twig snap, and then all of a sudden in the gap, I could see antlers. And I look back at Josh, or I remember Josh saying, "It's him or is it him?" He said one of the two. My mind registered it as it's him. I never looked again. I never looked at those antlers. He dropped across the creek bottom, and he was behind a tree. His head was behind a tree. Within about 7 seconds of when I first saw him, it was either 7 or 13 seconds. It was something like that. From the moment that I saw him, my arrow had hit him. Okay, so that's how quick the situation actually took place. He was the only deer that we knew of that was still in velvet, this 160, 70-inch deer. And watching the film back, obviously you guys are probably giggling and laughing at me. How did you confuse that for a 170-inch deer? Well, on the ground in the given scenario, things happen quick. Anyway, I pull back and I shoot. But when I shoot and I hit him and he takes off, I remember thinking that buck didn't look as wide as I thought it was. And it wasn't. After a horrendous, horrible tracking job the next day, even though he didn't go far, we ended up finding this deer. And even prior to that, watching the film back and really seeing that this was not alpha. This is not the 160 to 70-inch deer that we were in there after. This is just a smaller, younger 10-pointer, and that's all it was. So at the end of the day, not necessarily what I was going for, but still a great buck, still in velvet. It is what it is. But here's the cool part about this entire story, is that alpha lives on. So this 160, 170-inch deer lives on as a 5 or 6-year-old deer. And now the story gets to continue. The saga of alpha continues. So we'll see what happens next year, guys. If you guys like these stories, if you like these quick tips, if you like these videos that we put out on a regular basis, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I love sharing my experiences with you guys. I love getting videos out there. And if you guys enjoy them as well, make sure you subscribe. And if you're subscribed, you always have a chance or an opportunity to win our giveaways. And let's be honest, who doesn't like free stuff? So like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, guys.